How to Cite, APA 7th edition. Today, we're going to go over how you can create an in-text citation for indirect sources. What is an indirect citation? Let us assume that you have read an article by Kent, published in 2021. In it, you find an interesting piece of information. However, the information is attributed through a citation to an article by Wayne, published in 2020. If you were to cite Wayne through Kent's publication, that would be an indirect citation. The question is, how do you cite it? The in-text citations for indirect sources have two key components. The primary source, in this case Wayne, and the secondary source through which the primary source is cited, in this case Kent. When creating an in-text citation for this hypothetical scenario, it would likely go as follows. According to Wayne, 2019, superheroes should always carry green kryptonite with them, parentheses, as cited in Kent, 2021, close parentheses. When referring to the primary source, in this case Wayne, you must provide the year of publication. When you introduce the secondary source, in this case Kent, you will preface it with the words as cited in, and you will also include the year of publication for the secondary source as well. Alternately, you could put both the primary and secondary source in shared parentheses. In this case, you lead off with the primary source, which is followed by a comma, as cited in, the secondary source, another comma, and finally, the year of publication. Special note, APA actually discourages the use of indirect citations. Why not use indirect citations? There's two key considerations. First, the reader will be unclear as to the currency of the data. Because the year of publication is not included for the primary source, the reader won't know when that data was collected and if it is current enough to give consideration. Perhaps more importantly though, the secondary source may have misinterpreted or even misrepresented the data from the primary source. Therefore, it's critical that you go directly to that primary source so that when you represent the data, you can ensure it is represented accurately. Most of us have played the game telephone in our youth, and this provides some insights into how the data or information from a primary source could be misinterpreted. Information always begins with data collection, at which point the author of a primary source would provide an analysis. The author of a secondary source would then interpret that analysis. You would do the same before handing it off to your audience. With so many links in between, it's easy for misinterpretation to occur. Therefore, you want to go directly to the primary source in order to avoid these excessive links between your audience and the primary source. Celebrated American author Mark Twain underscores the reasons why misrepresenting data might be the most important concern with respect to avoiding indirect citation. He is famous for saying that there are three categories of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics. But how is it that statistics might be misleading when they're seen so often as being objective? The fallacy of incomplete data, informally referred to as cherry picking, is a logical fallacy that underscores why we should be critical whenever we're reading information presented in a secondary source. This fallacy occurs when somebody knowingly provides a statistic without its full context in order to support a claim that the original source may not have actually supported. But let's take a look at this in practice. Hypothetically, a political pundit might argue that social distancing is bunk because you are more likely to catch COVID-19 at home than in public. Is this true? Yes, it's 100% true that you are more likely to catch COVID-19 at home than in public. However, the conclusion that social distancing is bunk is fallacious because it is based on the fallacy of incomplete data. In this case, The argument fails to address that social distancing outside the home can significantly reduce the likelihood of transmissions in the home. Therefore, we would want to avoid using the secondary source and go directly to the primary source so that we can get the full context of the data. So, when can we use an indirect citation? If you've made an honest effort to locate the primary source and you simply cannot get access, then use the indirect citation. This typically occurs if the book is out of print and you can't get a hold of a copy, or if there is a paywall preventing you from getting access to a journal article or ebook. In these instances, it's perfectly acceptable to use an indirect citation. Now you know how to create an in-text citation in accordance with APA 7th edition for indirect sources. However, if you have any other citing and referencing questions or any questions about writing in general, don't hesitate to book an appointment with the Writing Support Desk through My Success. However, we encourage you to book early because our appointments do fill up quickly. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.